Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new show, very brand new show. When I was trying to get into shape, which obviously wasn't working out, I was actually gaining weight because I needed to talk to a nutritionist, not just get on the treadmill. But as I was spending about 2.5 months nonstop on the treadmill, I was watching a lot of animes. And I started making a list of animes that I really liked and animes that I really hated. That's what this show's going to be about. So, if it's an anime that you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a thumbs down now and walk away. But anyone who's eager to find out why I dislike a particular anime, stay tuned. And, yeah, it's going to be a treat. All right, so today I wanted to talk to you about an anime that I absolutely, and I mean this with no hyperbole, hate. And that is Heganai. And I don't even care if I'm saying it right. I probably am, but I don't care. I really don't like this anime. So when I was first watching it, I thought maybe this show was like taking all the villains of other slice of life animes and putting them into one anime. That's what I thought, because these characters, not a single one of them, well, maybe like one or two of them, really none of them are likable. At least not the main three characters. The characters you're supposed to be rooting for on some level. For the most part, they're all written to suck. Every single one of these characters are written to genuinely suck. Especially the main character, the main two characters. Now, technically, there are three kind of main characters because there's kind of this love triangle, which really doesn't work, and I really don't care for it. In fact, I don't care for any of these characters. For those who don't know, there is a guy, a boy, by the name of, I think it's Kobaka. I'm not positive. Again, I'm going to be butchering these names. Okay, so his thing is he's this kind of like rebel, this kind of doesn't really give a shit kind of character. And this guy that like other people kind of like don't like, or they're afraid of him or whatever. But really all that comes down to is the fact that he has blonde hair. Do they discriminate so specifically? Like everything else is fine, but blonde hair on a guy when he's not supposed to have blonde hair? Screw him. Purple hair, pink hair, totally fine. Blonde hair? He's clearly a villain. But yeah, but because of that, he's like got this like kind of like, yeah, whatever, screw all of you guys, yeah, whatever. Why? Why? What reason? And then he wears everything untucked like he's a pirate or something. Like, what's the point in that? But that aside, this character, I'm convinced, is a sociopath. And I throw that around a lot with a lot of people that I don't like, a lot of characters. But this character genuinely is a sociopath. Now, a sociopath is not a psychopath, okay? It's not someone that enjoys inflicting pain on other people. It's not someone who gets sexual pleasure off death and mayhem. No. A sociopath is someone who genuinely doesn't care or cannot empathize with other people. I'll give you some examples. So Senna, who really is one of the few characters that isn't a piece of shit for the most part. Let me just break down Senna real quick. So she's supposed to be unlikable. You can clearly see that they're setting her up to be someone that you're not supposed to like or is supposed to be annoying. When in fact, there's really nothing about her, maybe except for some of her, entertainment preferences, that is really, it makes her a terrible person. The three things that you're supposed to hate about her, or other characters hate about her, is the fact that she's beautiful, she's rich, and she's got big bazooms. That's it. These are three things that she has no control over. None whatsoever. She was born into wealth, and she just genetically, got a blackjack motherfucker like that. Who cares? These other characters, especially Yozora? Is it Yozora? Whatever. The main female character, who is the purest piece of shit character. I hate her. She sucks. She's always picking on Senna. She's always picking on Senna, like on the beach or when they're just hanging out with friends or whatever. She's always picking on her, and not just like, you look at your blonde hair and your big. No, I mean like physically attacking her, like violently assaulting her in front of everyone. And then the main character, this piece of garbage, just watches it, and every single time, the main male character just stands there and goes, wow, someone should do something, and does nothing. He doesn't do anything, ever. He just watches this person getting picked on for 3 traits that she has no control over, just watches this psychopath just pick on her, bully her, strangle her, stomp her. She literally is stomping on her, just putting her foot down into her face, and he does nothing. He just stands there with his blank, punchable face. That's how I know he's a sociopath. That's how I know. Because of that face he makes while someone is bullying someone else for something they have no control over. He's a psychopath. No. Yozora is a psychopath. Kobaka, he is the sociopath. And this is partly why I thought, surely, that this was an anime where they took the bullies and the villains of other slice of life animes and put them together in one anime, which I actually thought was a good idea. If that's what they went with, it would have been a great idea. I would have loved that idea. It would have been great. Like, oh, that's what these characters are doing when no one else is around. But no, that's not what they're doing. That's absolutely not what they're doing. The only other character who is somewhat likable, who doesn't really have anything that you know, that they're like a piece of garbage, is this one character who I still have no idea what sexual or gender orientation they are, which I thought was interesting because I actually thought that this was a boy character who was confused, thought he was a girl, or everyone else thought he was a girl, but he really is a boy or something like that. But no, it turns out later he actually is a girl, but they still treat this character, I don't know, still treat this character as if he is a boy pretending to be a girl, but it is a girl. What? Yukimura, that's how you pronounce that one. Yukimura, red hair. I don't know. I thought this was just an androgynous male character who, again, is actually when you think about it now, is being bullied and being picked up by everyone because this character wants to be identified as a boy, thinks that they're a boy, but actually is a girl. But then everyone, to pick on this character, to pick on Yukimura, dresses him as a girl, which he actually is. What? And it's not like it's like a transgender thing. Nobody knows. Nobody has any clue what this character's supposed to be. Not the character, not the people around them. But yet it is confirmed later on that this character actually is, female. It's confirmed. And yet they go on like nothing happened. Like nothing changed. Why? Now the next character that I really want to kind of talk about, and I'll get to the 2 horsemen of the apocalypse later, is Rika. Rika starts out kind of interesting and then kind of one note like the whole time. So Rika is one of the few characters that I think is an okay person, but just has a very weird, sick sense of humor. I think that's what it is. But this character is supposed to be like a top-level genius and can invent anything, and then actually does, and yet it's not a big deal even in the show. So this character creates like these little like flying orbs that like attack the main character at some point in time. And she's supposedly wearing like a headband or whatever that, controls them, and then like they go around and like they attack them, and then you find out, oh, it wasn't the headband, it was a control that she had in her pocket the whole time. And it was like, well, it's still impressive. It's an orb about this big that's just flying, and with one hand you're controlling like 20 of them? What are you doing? What is this? And then there's also like, she creates like a virtual reality thing that everyone can just go into, and that's a weird episode for a little while that essentially means nothing. But this character is supposed to be like a sexual deviant. Like this character's like always like hitting, like wants to get laid like all the time. Like really wants to get some 24/7. And just like any other male protagonist, does nothing about it. He feels nothing. He's a sociopath. He doesn't feel anything. He's dead inside. He just, she's hitting on him. She's hot. All these other women either don't want to be with him or pretending like they don't want to be with him. There's one woman that's also hot and a genius and will make you billions when you're older because she can invent anything. You don't want to be with that one? You don't want to be, yeah, sure, she's kind of a weird freak, but she's actually a good person. She shows multiple times that she's genuinely a good person who shows sympathy towards everyone, but just wants to get in his pants. That's her only negative trait. Really? Really? Why? I thought that these characters were bullies from other animes because that's the kind of bullying that happens in other animes. The kind of being picked on, being bullied. You mean there's a whole bunch of hot women that are attacking you? Oh, you poor bastard. Now to get to the worst offenders. Worst offenders. And shame on you. Shame on you. There you are. Shame on you. Whoever created this anime. Shame on you for making me watch this character without warning run naked across the screen. Actually, there's two of them. There's two of them. You sick perverts. There's Kobito and Maria. Maria's the only name that I'm confident that I pronounced correctly. But it's Kobito and Maria. And essentially, these are the worst of the worst. Maria is a moron. And she, like, Japan. Let me talk to you for a second. Have you seen a Catholic church? Ever? Have you seen a nun? Have you seen them? That's not them. That's not what they're like. At all. You need help. So, Kobito, now with this particular character, it's very much a Japanese culture thing. It's very much a Japanese culture thing. That's why you see a lot of familial relationships. I don't know how to say this without making it a problem. First off, Japan sees fiction as fiction. If it's fiction, everybody knows it's fiction. It's not to be taken seriously. So there's a few things they let slide. Still not okay, but that's why they do that. And with Kobito, they kind of let a little too much slide. I'm not okay with this character at all. Not okay that this character exists. I'm not okay that the internet knows that this character exists. I'm just going to put it that way. You ruined everybody. Congratulations. You did it. Good job. I don't like that. So this is basically supposed to be a harem anime. And every single character that I've mentioned is part of his harem. You know what I'm getting at? That's hinted at for all of them. Pretty much all of it, except for Maria. Which, again, shame on you for having this character just thrown like naked. Fuck you. So here's the basic plot premise of Heganai. So the main character and the main girl character, the two worst socially, the ones that are the most psychopath or sociopath. The girl used to be his old friend when they were back, being kids back in the day. He thought that she was a boy because she dressed all tomboy, wore a hat. I don't know if she was pretending to be a boy or if she just was in boy's clothes and then he thought that she was a boy and she just never brought it up. Well, anyway, at some point in time, she was going to tell him that she liked him and just, show him that she was a girl, but then she chickened out and she ran away and then he just never saw her again. And I don't know how he remembers that friend existed. Apparently they didn't spend that much time together. And then a good chunk of years go by. They're now in high school and all of a sudden she sees him again. He doesn't recognize her, obviously, because he thought that was a boy and it's not a boy anymore. And so then she creates this plan, this ploy to try to create this club so that she can try to get him in the club so that she can become friends again, and then she can either reveal that was her back in the day, or that she can just they can just build a relationship that way. But she never brings it up. She's just cowardly, never brings it up this whole time, just acting like an asshole about it to anyone else. And the other girl comes in, the blonde, big boob one, she comes in and she wants to be a part of the club because she needs something to do. And now so the psychopath girl hates her and she's like, stupid bitch. And she like punches her in the face because she's like in the club, she's ruining her plans to try to get with him, even though she's not actually trying to get with him. She's just spending all of her time just trying to build a club that just as a ploy, some kind of smoke screen, when all she really had to do was just ask him out the whole time. And then more people start coming in and other people, they're like, oh, there's a club. And she's like, there's not a club. There is a club. There's not a club. There is a club. And then like they get Maria as like a head of the club signed by the church, and they're actually holding all these sacrilegious club meetings in the church. And then Maria's in charge of the church. It's Maria who's like 9 years old or something. Fuck you, Japan. And so then they have all these adventures doing club activities. Club activities. And so then they have the main boy who still doesn't know who his old friend was, and I don't know why he still cares And then she eventually does reveal that it was her on some level at the very, very end, but he doesn't really do anything about it, doesn't really say anything, because again, he's nothing. He's just a slate, just dead inside. And eventually, like, it becomes like, will they, won't they? But you don't give a shit. You don't give a shit. The only good relationship that could possibly have in the show is between either genius nymphomaniac or Blondie, Big Boobs McGee or whatever. I think they call her Meat for no reason whatsoever. Technically, he would be Meat because all the women are trying to get on him. Why? The only way that you would have a good show is if they focused more on the good people in the relationship and the good characters rather than focusing on the characters who are really kind of shitty and their shitty attributes. Now, everything else that happens in the episodes are cliche. There's stuff that you've seen in every anime, but these characters, I don't like any of them. And there are other characters that come in. Maria has an older sister, or not, I don't know if they're actually related. But she's another nun. She's a taller nun. And she also has no problem being free and hippie-like with her body in front of everyone. And she drinks, and she curses, and she smokes. And, you know, very nun-like. Absolutely. Textbook nun. We've all seen it. That's her character, and I don't know. Is she part of the harem as well? I don't know. Maybe she is. And then it just ends. The show just ends. And it ends with the main character, Kobaka, whatever his fucking name is, and the nymphomaniac genius character up on the top of a school building. She tries to kill him with her flying robot because he's like all blank and empty inside. And he's like, yeah, I'm all blank and empty inside, something that we all knew. And then it ends. There's no payoff. There's no reason for investment in the show. I mean, overall, the animation's fine. I think there were like one or two lines that made me laugh, genuinely made me laugh. Maybe not in the way that they intended, but that's it. I'd give it a 4 out of 10. I'd give the whole show a 4 out of 10. Now, I want to make this very clear, like any other show, any other movie, anime, manga. If you like it, cool. I actually don't think that says anything about you if you actually like it. Actually, if you liked reading the manga, which I'm going to continue to say manga because I'm white, pasty white. If you like the manga, that's probably a better idea. This might be one of those animes that the manga is very different than the anime. I don't know. But I personally didn't like the show. I didn't like it. After it was over, I really wish that I didn't waste the time because there was no payoff, I don't feel. And there was no following season. So it's not like any of the questions in the show were resolved at some other point. None of that. So, yeah, that's just me. I didn't like it. 4 out of 10.